Meeting for May 1st, 2023. All the commissioners are in attendance, so we have quorum, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, everyone.
Supervisor report.
I was like saying the pledge, and Siri wants to call someone. Gotta get my phone on silent. It's always good to remind people of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get some non-stick papers. There we go.
Thank you, Steve.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Sir?
Thank you. Okay, the office water damage, break room walls are painted. They're working on ceiling grid today. Probably in all likelihood we'll be finished with that by the end of the day. And then we've got the floor treatment left. I think they were targeting somewhere, I guess sometime this week to come in and get that done, this week or next week. So I'll be in touch with them, but after that we should be done and we'll have our costs put together, and then I can let you know where we're at. So, but it's going well and looking good. Item 2, paving list for 2023. The county council was unable to fund the match for the community crossings grant that was going to pave 1100 south from the town of Ferguson to 231, and then Kellerville Road from Kathy Lane to 300 north, which will take place later this year. Our current estimates show the match would be roughly $328,267. We will provide the match for those projects, but in order to do so, we'll need to pull the Ferdinand Road East project from what we had planned on doing. So that project, as well as an additional appropriation, would be enough to cover that match. So we should be good there.
I watched the meeting, but I don't remember what was their reasoning. They just wanted to see where the budget played out for next year before they spent.
I think they said there were a lot of asks.
There's a lot going on in the edit fund, and they kind of want to wait and see.
Yeah. So,
Especially the jail, I don't know how much of that they're going to use.
So we'll take the funds that we would have used for Ferdinand Road East and then match that to an additional appropriation, and we'll have our match. So that'll still continue. Okay.
On that same topic, does anybody want to, I think I may have sent an email out, does anybody want to attend the check ceremony? I think it's in Martin County this year. I don't have an interest in going. Neither of the commissioners want to go, or either. I just don't see any value in getting the big check and taking a picture.
Yeah.
We've got other stuff we could be doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the final thing for that additional appropriation, I'd like to ask for an additional appropriation of $110,000 from the MVH fund to place it in the MVH restricted paving projects line item. I guess, Sandy, I want to cover that with you first. Since the funds are there for Ferdinand Road East, and this is for that match, would it make sense to go ahead and put this in paving projects as well? That way, that whole thing is in there, and if we have to move it.
That's what I think.
Okay, so that's where we'll put it in the restricted paving projects line item to cover that. So our match is there then. So.
Railroad arm in Huntingburg. I've been going through some old minutes, working on a different thing. And it's been since the beginning of 2019 that we started talking about that. Is there any update, any status, anything?
I haven't even seen paint marks out there. Now, they had 2 years, so I think that puts us around, I think it was April or May of next year that it has to be complete. So I would expect that sometime this summer, we should start to see some things happen there. 'Cause, I'm sure what they have to do, I guess they have to have new foundations for this stuff and all that. So it's not gonna be a real fast thing, but I'm sure it'll take a couple months to get it done. So,
Mr. Stefanoff, you know what we're talking about?
No, are
So-
you replacing arms
So
or?
it's what, 600 West, is that what it is?
600 West, yeah.
600 West, that's the road that, when you take the shortcut back past Duff,
Mhm.
come down, and you end up going down Division Road, where,
Yes.
if you're coming back from Holland and that way,
Yes.
there were a couple accidents at this one railroad crossing, and we had a discussion, we decided that we wanted to push for that for a local person whose wife was hit, was one of the people hit there. And so we started contacting people, and as a county, we decided that, I think they told us if we put in 40,000? Oh, I think it was 40.
I think it was,
I think it's
yeah,
$40,000, and they'll accelerate our project, we'll get our project moving a little forward, otherwise it's gonna take a few years.
fast tracked.
Yeah, so we appropriated that $40,000.
Really?
I think they've been doing it since I've been in office.
So, yeah, January, or I think it was actually February of 2019 was the first time in the minutes that we talked about it. Then May, maybe we appropriated the money, so we're right at 4 years now.
I took office in 19, so I was right.
Yep, so it's one of those things that it used to be you'd report on it, and it's just like nothing ever happened, so we never.
That's fast track.
Yeah, just think if we did fast track it. 10-year project.
No,
It might still
so
be.
it's just been something that's sitting on a desk out of this, so like it's really been having any
Yeah.
action. So I just noticed it again and it was fresh in my mind. So again, if there's anybody you can just send an email to, city commissioners are asking, and we don't, I know you said if we push, doesn't do us any good, maybe it hurts us. So
Mhm.
maybe just for an update, the community might want to know too.
Yeah, I think it's probably been a year ago since we got the notice, I guess, the official notice to proceed, and they had 2 years from the date of that letter to complete the project, and that's been a year ago, roughly a year ago, so.
Yeah, I didn't remember how that worked.
So, yeah, we've appropriated the money, we've given them proceeds for the design work and a few other things, so, our money's been spent. And there's still a balance, but,
If you have access to that email, I mean, I don't want to spend a ton of time, but if you could forward it to me, I'd like to
Sure.
see it again. I don't remember it. So that'd be great. Anybody have anything for Supervisor?
nice,
Thank you.
Nice, slow Monday, that's good.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, it's been either way. We've given them computers in the past, way back, and then they got grants. And so it's been, the last time they didn't have grants for some of them. But
So we're gonna buy everything, this is part of the project, but I just didn't know what it was. If they needed to be on our schedule for
well,
5 years.
I really try to keep track. I mean, it's hard to keep track of the stuff about telling me, but I try to keep track. And that inventory too, because we have a better inventory.
We're having this meeting.
Something I,
The needs are getting more and more than they used to be. There used to be 3 people in the 5 and now they're,
Do it.
I mean, the needs are great. So they almost need to be on a rotation. It's hard to do all 3 of them, but
Good morning.
Morning. Okay, Duff Solar Park, we haven't got onto that yet, there's a lot going on, so that's just kind of, it's there, just to keep it going, but nothing's accomplished yet. Safe Streets for All, the action plan. So, I sent the first draft of the agreement up back to Federal Highway, so part of the Federal Highways, they send you a template, but then you gotta fill it and everything. NDOT's a little different, NDOT fills it all out for you, Federal Highway, you have to do it. So, I filled all for the first draft, they made some comments, so I'm gonna go back through and readjust the agreement. But also, while we were doing that, I sent you guys an email on Friday concerning the agreement itself. So since I'm the one that signed off on it, and I submitted it, now that I have to be the one to sign the agreement. With that being said, obviously, I don't have the authority to sign a federal highway agreement. I do have NDOT because of the resolution we did. So I drafted a resolution, that's what I got a copy of for you guys to give me authority after you guys bless it to actually sign the agreement. So
That sounds good to me, and I like the way we do with NDOT. You get the email, I get the email, and you come in here and we talk about it briefly, then you do the final review and signature, so I like how that goes. Anybody have a problem with the resolution?
Does that have to be approved? The resolution?
Yeah.
I think I signed it before I thought about it. No, I have no problem.
So I'll move that do we have a resolution number that this would be?
I didn't know you had on one, so.
I know, I didn't copy you on email, I forgot.
Probably 4, but I'm not 100% sure.
That ordinance is 3, so I think it would be 4.
I think so.
Say it's a resolution, if that makes it.
We kept it right in order now.
Okay.
Oh, resolutions don't get their own.
Resolution
Number
number,
3? No.
what's the next one? I think we have 3 on one that we're gonna do later.
You have that ordinance with us here.
Yeah, and yeah, here's 3, so I'll need 4. Yeah, okay, thanks, bye.
04?
I'll need 4, because we have 3 on this one already that we're gonna do later.
Okay. I'll move that we approve resolution number 2023-04, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners that allows the county, or authorizes the county engineer to act on its behalf regarding certain matters associated with the Federal Highway Administration.
One second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Alright.
Motion carries.
And you'll need to send me this in Word.
Good word, yes, like that. Okay, Bridge 14. So now the water's receded where they're progressing nicely. Starting phone calls go a long way. Now they actually got the first of the 2 pours were done on Friday. Hopefully the second pour will be done this Friday, and they'll be out of water. Then they can live. That can get going. So
On that, are there I don't know how bridges work, so I'm just, after I have that email, sort of look into it so is there an abutment on each side that supports the weight of the bridge, and that'll work, so they poured the first pour on both sides?
no, so they've got the west one complete.
Uh-huh.
Now they're working on the east.
Okay.
The west one got done before the water came up. They moved over to the east, and then we got all the rains, and the water came up, and they were stuck.
Okay, makes
So
sense.
it's 2 pours per abutment.
And then I think you responded by email, and then they'll start on the deck.
Yeah, as soon as they're done. Correct.
Yeah.
So, community crossings 23-1. So we were awarded community crossings. So that's paving of 1100 South from Ferdinand town limits all the way to US 231 and then Kellerville Road from Jasper city limits to just north of 300 North. I'm gonna bid these jobs in June. Hopefully the first meeting in June, I'll have these things ready to bid, and then we keep moving on that project. That's just short of $1 million we got from the state. So this will take care. We won't apply later on. The 23-2 we won't apply because it won't be a job worth going after. So that's all on that one. That's just an update so you guys know my plan, my schedule. And then obviously we got paving projects coming in at 9 o'clock today. If I can get it checked through all these, I would like to come back again in the meeting. If not, we'll do it the next one.
Anybody have anything?
That's all I got.
Well, the accessibility ramp is in with the handrails. I think the only thing we're waiting on is the stuff on the main landing. There's not a rail that keeps somebody from falling off.
Oh,
Where
okay.
there's, I don't know if you were keeping up on it all.
As I was watching, I was trying, which one are you talking about? Yeah, okay, up on top, you're saying.
Right. Yeah. I suppose, do you know, are they gonna fit it? I guess, do they have that or who?
I'm the last person who gets any information. Let me tell you, I've called over there, asked for it, and they've never called me back. The one day the receptionist said, hey, I think they're delivering something to you. That's the only call I got.
Okay,
It looks good. The rails are sturdy,
yeah,
good construction, seems to have.
I would thought that top rail, I'll have to find out what's going on there.
I know they had somebody, they didn't have somebody to drill it, and they didn't have somebody to install it, and I mean, that's what the guys on site did.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah, maybe if you look into that, I'd be appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will. Yep. You're welcome.
Doesn't know about it yet, so I'm gonna keep it until he.
All right, I got a couple miscellaneous items and we will, go through these. Got a photo sent to me the other day and then somebody let their dog be on the grass and they said, we should need to do something about this. And I said, well, I don't know that we can do much about that. I didn't know if they wanted us to put up a sign or they said we should do an ordinance or something. And I don't know. I wanted to hear your opinions if we,
On the square here?
yeah, on our new grass where they put the sod.
Oh.
Cause I know years ago, there was a lady that worked over at Beer, when Beer was on the corner. She'd bring her dog over and dog would, that lady would do that, and I don't know, it upset some people, because I guess it was killing the grass. And I think this person from the picture looked like somebody that has a business on that side of the square.
There's still people coming on the land and doing that.
Because there's not a lot of grass around.
The only green space for a few blocks.
When I used to bring my dog down, I'd walk him like a block and a half down to somebody else's property too. I mean, 15 years ago, there's no green space. And it's not a big deal to me, but I don't want to minimize it if it's a big deal to other people. Is it a big deal to either of you? Should we let them have
I mean,
little yellow spaces in the grass? Is that worth?
I think they're more concerned, I know Scott's concerned about the shrubs because some of the shrubs are getting,
Oh yeah, you can't let them go in the shrubs. That's
and they're
what-
brand new.
I don't, like I said, I don't want to make light of it too much, but dogs can't read, so sign won't do any good. That's a joke. What, I mean, where do you, if somebody has a dog downtown, what are they gonna do with it?
I don't have a problem with people pick up after their dog. I mean, you're not gonna pick up if they urinate.
Right.
That is what it is. Yeah. I guess I don't have an issue with that. You know, if we had little packages left over there, then I might have an issue with that.
Right, if there's solid waste left, that could be that could be troubling, but.
I'm sure they clean that up. I mean, I'm sure that's,
You know,
I hate it that it's in our new landscaping, but
can we put a neat little sign, you know, that says, please keep your animals off the shrubbery or you know, something
I
like
mean,
that?
just something like this,
Something
big.
small, yeah, something, you know.
Out of landscaping. Put a toy fire hydrant there in place of the shrubs.
I've seen those, something like that.
plastic fire hydrants. Yeah,
Something like
small
that.
sign wouldn't be a bad idea.
And the real good thing about it is Scott, in this case, cares and wants it to look beautiful, and he does an awesome job at it, so. I understand that if you do a lot of work on it and somebody comes and lets the dog pee 4 times a day, it's gonna make it not look good.
We have sprinklers out there?
He walks it around, he hoses them, or has a,
Yeah.
with a sprinkler.
At this point, maybe we'll say we're not gonna do an ordinance, I don't know that that'll do any good, but if he wants to put up a few little signs, maybe one on each corner or something, as long as it's not.
Right, and I think just the landscaping, I mean, folks gotta have somewhere to go. There's people that live up here.
Yeah, all around the square.
Okay. I'll send him a note. I haven't looked at the landscaping in a lot of detail, but the little bit that I did when I was looking at the ramp, it looks nice, and it seems like they've done a good job. They got the sod down really quickly.
Scott's not too happy with some of the sod lane because there's cracks and big
Gaps in it.
gaps in it.
I told him to call Danny Brescher and find out what they thought of it. Is it going to fill in and everything? I don't know what he stood on that because he asked me about it. And I don't know about sod. I don't know if that's good or bad or anything. So told me he's going to call a landscaping guy to find out.
It's time to set a department head meeting. I don't know if you guys saw that. You brought that up at the council meeting. So I think the one in January, you and I attended, right?
Yes,
And
we did.
you want to do this one? Sure.
When are you gonna have it?
It's recent.
17th is
Come.
risk management. The next week after that, I will be out on Wednesday at Auditor's Conference. So
We'll do it in June.
I just didn't know when, because I have to let people know.
It's in June. The sooner I know, I can get it on the calendar so it doesn't conflict with something at work. I should be able to get it.
So you two will just connect and get one of those. And Cerise, I guess if you want to come to this one too and see how they run, then you can do the next one. If you are comfortable doing it.
I'm gonna look when the room's open too, because they're filled up down there.
Okay. Commissioner Hostetter will do that one with Matt. Okay, I had an email from Mark Novotarski about, he had a concern about questions, I guess, about the bike and pedestrian plan and the comprehensive plan. And I told him I'd bring it up here today just to see for a brief discussion. So the bike and pedestrian plan is developed. We have one somewhere. It's around. I've got a digital copy. I don't know, how does everybody here feel about that? Is that something we want to put some teeth to, some action to, try to get it in the budget to take some action next year? I've not been involved in that almost at all. Have you been involved in it?
I've had a request from somebody. Oh my gosh,
A lady called into the office and I referred her to you two,
Yeah.
because I said, you guys are going to, I knew there was.
requesting that they'd like to see the plan done, see some signage at the minimum put up on the roadways per the plan, things like that. I told her she needed to come before you guys get a request, because right now we don't have money to be putting those signs up, so we gotta find a grant to do that. She understood that, she had no problem, she wasn't complaining about it, she wanted to get something moving forward. So, I don't know where they stand on that fact, but there is been some public requests, so something to keep in mind.
I think a lot of the spirit of that plan was to have something in place if grant money became available. Not necessarily to use our county tax money to go out and create these, but to have the availability if a grant was there, that we could do it. So.
With that, is the request to do it, I would assume it's probably Jasper, on roads that we don't even control?
No, this one was not necessarily the trails. This is more bike signage is one request that I got on all the county roads around the area, because they're one of the people that likes to ride across the county, all around it. And they would like to have some signs, notifying the public is what they're looking for.
So I see people on Kellerville Road pretty often riding bikes. What would a sign do?
At least notify the traveling public and vehicles that there's bikes are on this road quite a bit.
Do you find value in that?
Like every other sign in the county, if the people are driving, are actively looking at signs like they should be, it would be a very big value. If people are not listening to signs, then it's not gonna be a big value.
The more signs you put up, the more noise there is, and the less you're going down.
Yeah, there's a big perk to that too, so.
Kind of reminds me of the low-flying aircraft sign. What, low-flying aircraft? What's that do for me as a person driving down the road? I don't know.
Just tells you one could be coming over your head.
I guess I'm not a person that thinks signage is a big thing unless if we put bike lanes in, that'd be a different thing. You said this lane is for a bike because people, it'd be something new, people wouldn't be used to it. Again, I don't want to talk like I know more than I do. I don't know very much about it. No.
I mean, I get it for the bike riders too. I mean, maybe it gives them some peace of mind that they're out there doing 25, 30 mile an hour, and somebody comes around doing 50, you know, to be aware. But I mean, if you drive a road every single day and you always do 50 miles an hour and it's safe, it's a 45 mile an hour speed limit, and there's bike signs there all the time, and one time there's a bike rider. I don't know. Maybe if you don't drive that road all the time, you'd be looking for them.
Is it a liability thing if we don't? If someone gets hurt?
I don't think it changes the law if there's a sign. If there isn't a sign, there's probably laws for respecting them and
You
giving
know
them
what
their
I'm
right.
saying? If it's
Yeah.
not posted and somebody does and
I don't believe, because I don't think it would have any more
somebody gets hurt,
teeth than a curb sign. I believe.
A bicycle rider has to obey the laws of the road. So they don't have any more, we don't have, pedestrian obviously always has the right of way. And a bike is not that.
Bike is not a pedestrian.
I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind is, you know, where we are phone-wise, because we don't ever want anything like that.
So I guess my opinion on it would be if someone in the public finds a grant opportunity, we could take the resources to apply for that and possibly match,
So,
or do some work that way, but that was one of my issues with even spending the little bit we did on the plan was that I didn't think, and I knew the argument was, well, if grants come in, you have to have this to be able to get it, but I didn't think the county had the resources to put towards it, so I just thought, man, it's gonna sit there. Because if somebody says, do you want to spend $5,000 on signs that say bike riders may be on this road, or put $5,000 worth of stone in front of somebody's house, most of the time people are gonna repair a road first. Okay, so that's the plan. You think, keep an eye out for grants. We're not opposed to it, but we would need to have some additional financing of some sort probably. Okay. Next, comprehensive plan. I know that that's something we discussed previously. Is that a project that either of you are interested in doing or running with, getting involved with? My comment to him was, maybe if I was to be the lead on it, I could do it once the jail project is done possibly, but I don't have the time now to do it. I've done some looking into it with Ryland downstairs when we were doing the help program, because I knew we were doing strategic planning. We were bringing some of the community together. I didn't know if we could do them on top, together at the same time, because I didn't want to ask the same people that come to meetings for the help and then ask them to come back for comprehensive plan meetings. And it didn't seem like that was what Oprah didn't want us doing it that way. So I'm still in favor of doing a comprehensive plan. I just know that it'll take some time and effort. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Not really. I don't feel like I want to take on another project of any sort right now.
I think that's a big one.
It
You
is.
have to have a lot of buy-in from a lot of departments, so.
Okay, prosecutor, position request, ordinance 2023-03. Couple of different issues.
Yes. Probably do the Greg's request first, that's easy.
Yes.
I'm stopping my bad check program because the statute that allowed for us to prosecute bad checks has been repealed. So there's really no point in having a county ordinance that references the statute. So Greg and I have been discussing, and he drafted an ordinance to repeal the prior ordinance that really is no longer effective, so.
So what does a person do now if their business gets a bad check? What is their,
Well, if it would be a large amount, I'm gonna send letters out to everybody that we currently collect for, basically saying, you know, if it's a large amount, you would go to your local police department and have them investigate it, and it could be a fraud charge. And to me, if it's a small amount, that would be a small claims type issue.
because when I had my business, I know I turned in a few and eventually I got paid on half of them. And it wasn't a lot of a burden on me as a person that had been wronged. But I guess if somebody wants to pursue it, they still have avenues. I just didn't know what they would be.
There are the civil ways to go after it as well.
But if somebody bounces $100 check to you, it's not, you just have to eat it, really, is the new way it would be. Because a small claim is gonna cost you that much.
It's a judgment call whether you want to continue to go good money after that.
Yes, the good thing is less and less checks are being used.
We don't hardly get as many as we used to.
Right, I would assume that that's probably the case. You have a copy of it. So you're requesting, in short, it's a repeal of
Prior ordinance.
prior ordinance from 2003, so it was 1986, and then redone after that. Okay, anybody have any questions or concerns on this one?
No.
I'll move that we approve ordinance 2023-03, an ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of DuBois County repealing ordinance number 13, section 34.03 of the DuBois County Code.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And then secondarily, you guys asked me to come back on my request for the full-time position, the part-time position. And then you said the raises you defer to the council, and I did get on the council agenda. And I watched the council meeting, and it's my understanding that they've put a hold on new positions and raises, which to me, if 911 needs more people and the sheriff's office needs more people, I need more people for the same reason. If we're gonna have more sheriff's deputies, obviously, we're gonna have more criminal charges, and I'm gonna need more people too. So, I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, but I still plan to go to the council meeting, and I still plan to ask for it. So I would ask that you guys go ahead and approve my request, however you previously planned to approve or deny, whatever, and then let the council, if they wanna tell me no, let them tell me no. So that would be my request.
Anybody have a thought, concern, question, comment?
Yeah, I kind of mulled this over. I get where the council's at right now too. Money's tight, so it is what it is. I think for me right now, I would probably support your number 2, which is the raises for prosecutors. I think we should be in line with the other counties. Pay people fairly, they're currently working here. That would be the right thing to do. But I would probably support the council on limiting new staff members at this moment.
Commissioner Stefano?
I agree. I think, let's see what the county council says, and then, we'll go from there. I understand, I get it. I understand the county council's reasoning behind it all as well. So I say let's just wait and see what the county council says, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, yeah, I think that's where we are. So
Okay.
no approval of new positions at this time. And I think we're gonna go through the budgetary process and see where all that plans out.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. That's this round, just for staff, our eyes only, and I'll give you like that. You'll give that back to Steve when you finish review. Oh, thank you. There you go. Okay. Commissioner Tubbs, last meeting, we talked about some surplus items, some tables, bike rack, payphones, those kind of things. You were gonna check with the
I have
county
not
4-H.
got a definite reply. I do have a meeting this evening, and I will get a definite answer. My one question is the courthouse going to use or take over the bike racks? Are they gonna use those?
I've had I didn't get any
Definite
feedback
response.
from the highway, they didn't seem like they had any use for it, and I didn't get anything from Mr. Hope either. And I looked at a picture of it again, and it's a pretty large one. I don't know, what do you think, 20 bikes fit on that thing? I mean, it's
Probably
pretty
pretty close.
substantial. But for the right location, I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I will get a definite answer from them this evening. I've got a meeting.
Okay.
I did reach out to them and ask them, but everyone had their ideas and no definite answer. So that's where I'm at.
So I suppose really the main items would be if they have any use for a table, a couple tables, maybe a few they have a stainless steel in the middle and have 5 or 6 seats around them.
Right.
Washer and dryers if they have any use for that, and office desks, bike rack. So, okay, you probably do all that, but
Yep.
I had it written down. Okay, so we'll check on that again in 2 weeks.
Well, while you're on surplus items, we did move Steve and his crew, thank God for them. We did move the stuff out of the 4D office, and it's in storage now, so we
In
have
storage
9
where?
down at the 76 building.
Oh, then they let
It's
them
there.
know.
There's a desk with a return, there's a credenza, and there's 9 file cabinets.
Yeah. Did you look at them in person?
I
didn't know if you
mean,
were
Steve and
alone.
I both did, and they were saving.
Yeah, the
So there's one file cabinet in question, but
Yeah.
we were
Black
taking
one.
8, you might as well take nothing.
Yeah, and I think we didn't realize, I think when we looked at a few of them, I think they're a little bit rusted on the bottom. But
I mean, they looked
decent
nice,
shape, yeah, I mean,
with keys, I mean, they all had keys.
the doors all worked.
So like the,
So if you wanna go see them, I know the health department said they could possibly use the desk and stuff at the beginning of the next year, once 911 moves out, so.
Yeah.
You hate to get rid of a nice desk that.
Mhm. Yeah.
You may need in 6, 7, 8 months.
what's our time frame that we get to leave them there?
Didn't
really say.
Yeah,
Till they tell us otherwise?
Maybe until they use that space, I don't know.
But they were renovating it, I believe, still, and they had the space and they didn't have any takers at the moment, so.
You want me to ask the 4-H council this evening about those items as well?
Would there be any value in like reaching out to one of the auction houses on Yankees? I don't know that much about them. You probably have to take the stuff to them, but then it'll sell. You might get $1, you might get 50.
It's gonna be worth our time to get $1.
It'll be gone. That's the point.
I think too, if nothing else, we could,
We don't want to store this stuff.
no, not for a long amount of time. I think if we put it on Facebook, somebody will take it, or if we wanna get rid of it with no cost.
Yeah, 'cause somebody have to drive it up there, but I mean, some items you might get something for, others might not be worth the gas to drive it there.
And if we had an open storage room where we could just accumulate junk for a year and have an auction, that would work, but we don't have one of those.
We
Right.
have that space.
And then if you did, you have to make sure you have the auction. Not that it just.
How about you boys kind of restore? Would they pick up items like stain pencil?
We do pick up items.
I mean, that might be an option as well.
Especially for the file cabinets. Someone might need them.
But I could reach out to the 4-H tonight and then, get an answer on that, a definite answer. And then decide after that what you wanna do. What did you have again, Cindy?
A desk with a return, a credenza, it's a 4-drawer credenza, looks like the one in Marky's office. And then, 9 file cabinets with locks.
I'll ask them tonight.
All right, health grant administration proposal. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I am back regarding our grant administration proposal. The last time I was here, we did have one proposal received from Indiana 15. That same guy. So our scoring committee met on April 20th to review the proposal with the scoring guidelines. And our entire committee was for going forward with Indiana 15 for the administration of the health projects that use the CDBG grant fund. So that would be the owner occupied rehabilitation program as well as the TRICAP Head Start program. I did bring the scoring, got the committee, all their point and spreadsheets if you want to review those, but otherwise the next steps would be reaching out to Indiana 15, getting a meeting with them, and because I know they would like to start as soon as they can if they are awarded this.
So just for the board and for public knowledge, the two programs that they would administer if we select to go with them today will be housing rehabilitation. So we'll have to set parameters, local people that meet a certain income guideline that's federally mandated. What that guideline is, they would have a person go out and do a site visit, look at the home, make sure it's environmentally safe for someone to come do the work. Someone would come do the work, and they'd come in afterwards to verify that the work was finished. And this would put $700,000, $650,000, something in that range,
Yeah.
towards that program to be used over a time period to be determined. And so a lot of people locally would be able to, lower income folks be able to have improvements made to their home. Maybe it's their HVAC system or something that helps with the livability of the home. There's certain guidelines. It can't be putting a facade on the place, but it could be things that make it healthier. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and they would apply with Indiana 15.
They
So
would.
they
Okay,
would
that was
be,
my next question.
yes, they would be the ones really running the program, making headway with it, while keeping in touch with us and the state.
And similarly with TRICAP, these Indiana 15 would be looking at applications, and they would be ensuring that the funds are used in a federally allowable way. Because the funds are limited, these are two good programs, and we want these to be done, but we did have a couple other ideas which we also wanted to get done that didn't meet the guidelines. Because most areas of Du Bois County, some places, if you lived in a community where the income was pretty low, sometimes they just say that whole area qualifies, and you don't even have to go through the process. In Du Bois County, you have to qualify. In most places in Du Bois County, you have to qualify on the individual, and they don't just say this census block is pre-selected and pre-approved.
So how do the individuals in Du Bois County, how are they aware of these programs or what they can apply for?
It'll be developed and it'll be put out publicly.
Okay,
They'll be advertising for
Okay.
that.
okay.
So this didn't work out exactly how we thought the whole program would, but bottom line, there's gonna be $900,000 of maybe, after you count the administration and all this other stuff, that will come to Du Bois County to do improvements and positive things in the community that we wouldn't have gotten had we not done the health program. Anything, anybody have any questions?
So most of the individuals that are homes or whatever that need improvement and stuff like that, they have to apply. How about the ones that need improvement but don't apply? Obviously, we need improvement. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a concern for me.
It has to be the homeowner
Okay,
to apply.
And so if you have a rental,
Right.
you can't do that.
because obviously there's homes that need improvement, but if they don't apply, then it doesn't, no one else can reach out and say, okay, that was my question.
I mean, we could reach out to the individual and give encouragement.
Yeah.
Hey, were you aware that this is available? it looks like you've had plastic over your window for many seasons. This would help with that. Would you like to have that done? I think the effort from the homeowner would be prove probably a tax return or prove your income. If you're on public assistance, measure only income, that would probably, you'd have to prove that kind of thing.
So if you can get the homeowner to go, you can.
Or if you were a friend of someone or knew somebody in your community, or you could fill it out for them, with them, to help assist them, but they sign off on it. It's okay.
Yeah, the neighbor, you know, there's nothing stopping you from sending them a postcard that says, you know, hey, did you know this program existed?
Okay,
I'm satisfied to move forward with Indiana 15 regional planning. I think they're a good organization. Ms. Roster?
I would 100% agree.
agree.
Okay, I'll move that we accept the grant administration proposal from Indiana 15 regional planning.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Is there a document for us to sign as a board?
I will get that from, with Lisa, but this was the first step to make it go forward, so I will get that.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes, Houchins Insurance Contract.
Yeah, so I want to kind of give you guys an update of where we've been from 2 weeks ago at the commissioners meeting. So we made the determination to move from Gallagher to Houchins. Since then, I've worked with Greg and Sandy. We were able to get the documents signed. We got them up to Gallagher to end that agreement within the 30-day parameter, so we're good there. So now we're kind of going on to the next stage here of just basically signing the agreement, which we formally agreed to verbally there a couple weeks ago. So I also provided this to Greg. He's looked over it as well. So basically the terms of that is 60 months. Again, because we went 60 months just because they gave us that rate guarantee. So typically we wouldn't sign that long, but since we got the rate guarantee, we'd be silly not to. We've also got the same terms that we have with Gallagher, 30 days written notice. If things aren't working out, we provide the 30-day notice and we get out of that agreement. So, so that's really the nuts and bolts of that. So we're moving forward with the timelines of getting the transitions because we're a month away. This will come effective on June 1st of 2023. So
in some cases, and I'm reading it here on their commission agreement, that sometimes the broker can get a commission from, depending on who the county uses.
yes,
On a certain insurance product. So with Mr. Schrack, we had an agreement where he didn't collect any commissions on anything other than things that weren't paid for by the county. So vision or dental, he may get a commission, but he didn't get any additional commission on anything else. Did Houchins say one way or the other what they were doing in that area?
it's the same, just the voluntary products, and Gallagher had dental only was the only thing they were able to get commissions off of. So again, they'll negotiate directly with those carriers, but I would expect the same in regards to that. It will just be the voluntary products.
And
But the only ones that they've actually got is the dental and vision, because we're kind of in direct contracts with the other vendors that we use, you know, being Aflac and the National Insurance Services, Life Springs. So they're really the only two that they could get commissions off of would be the dental and vision.
I would just ask that you keep an eye on that, and I know when they come in, I'll ask them about it too, just because I think it gives a conflict if they profit by us going with Delta Dental versus another dental carrier. I think we need to be aware of what they're doing, and if they get additional compensation, then the agreement can be that we get that credited against what we pay, or at least at minimum, we know what they're doing, what they're not going to do there.
Actually, legally, once a year, they have to expose that to us. And I forgot what the form number is, but once a year they have to give a disclosure, yes. It actually breaks down to exactly how much they received in monetary and everything.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
No, I don't.
Good enough. That's really all I have. So it's gonna be a busy month trying to get everything moving in the right direction. So that's where we're gonna be heading with that.
Hopefully it's a nice, smooth.
Hopefully it's a nice, smooth transition, so that's what we're hoping for, so. 30 days away, so.
Effective June 1st.
Yes.
So it says things that are not included in the fee. Voluntary worksite benefits, marketing and enrollment activities. So,
That's gonna be the voluntary products that, like the Aflacs and the stuff that they don't have control of, basically.
ACA report, mailing and filing fees. Where are we at on that? Did we pay somebody to help us with that previously?
Yeah, currently we're with, last 2 years, we've done 2 or 3, we've done Gallagher, but they basically throw it out to UGS, so they're the ones been doing with us, so.
So we'll have to keep up on that as well?
Yeah.
With the new.
Yeah.
So I'll
So
pass
not
this-
really no changes there.
So change because it's still UGS.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so,
That makes sense.
and the reason for that is they just don't have the access to the data that, your TPA is gonna have, so your TPA is
There's
gonna
nowhere
work
for
for
you to
this.
sign it, it's like not going over again. As far as dental and vision, or is this a year that we are looking at that again?
We actually did that last year. I think these guys will look at it, but, last year we did go to bid, and between Delta Dental and Paramount won out on the overall cost and plan design to benefit the employee. They got a richer benefit at a more reasonable cost than what Delta Dental was presenting, so, that's something I've been hard trying to get those rates down because they are relatively high in my opinion, but it all based off of utilization, and we're utilizing that dental plan a lot, so that's why our rates are where they're at, so.
Is that a 2-year agreement?
That was, I believe we locked a 2 or a 3 on that.
We good with the agreement there? Okay, I'll move that we approve the Houchin Insurance Employee Benefit Agreement.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Say you want that, how, because I got to sign off on it too, yeah.
Once they do sign off on it, I'll need a fully executed copy of.
Okay. Okay, I'll take that and get that to you this week. Thank you.
I failed to recognize that at 8:55, we have the surplus item for community corrections, so we've already talked about that. We'll just, if you could roll that over to the next meeting again, we'll see where we are. I don't think 2 more weeks is gonna change anything, we're still gonna have the storage units. And did you give the agreement for Houchin?
Or give that agreement back to Marky?
Marky,
Okay, got it.
you would sign, so I get it back.
Okay, sounds good. Next up, I've got a letter that we received from the DuBois County Museum that thanked us for the continuing support the county gives. We've been giving them $10,000 per year for 20 years now. And museum president was asking if we would consider increasing our support this year. Did you, I don't know if either of you got it. So, just something food for thought, I guess. How do y'all feel about that contribution and increasing? Anybody have an opinion?
I think it's great, but I don't know if I'd increase it.
Part of me, I think if it would have been brought to me as a first time, you wanna look at it or?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
If somebody would come in today and say, I want $10,000 for something similar, I would say, no, that's not the purpose of county government to support these kind of things. When we came into office, it was already in place and we kept it going forward. And I guess that's what I would support, continuing the level of support we're doing. That's where I am.
I may be the only one the first time I wouldn't mind increasing it, maybe to 12,000 instead of 10,000. It's not a huge increase, but it's a little something. And I think it's important for our county to preserve our history. And this helps do that. We're not doing it all on our own. We have a great organization that works with us. I think, giving $10,000 a year is a minor contribution for a really nice building.
Maybe let us store some documents there. Upstairs. So if we increase it by $1,000, it didn't, or 2,000, that's not, I'm not, it'd be heartbroken, but I guess it's something we can talk about when we put our budget together this year.
It's interesting.
Thank you. You want to see
I
it?
don't know.
You might need to use the restroom or anything before we do bid openings? Good. Okay. Mr. Hoslinger, here is a copy of the preliminary engineering report I was given to provide to you. Mr. Berg, would you mind coming up, please? That's right. I received a safety recall letter for, anyway, when I reviewed it, it looked like it was something that was probably one of yours, so there may be a recall for one of our vehicles, an international. Something, so if you want to look at it, you can take care of it if that's the case.
I'm gonna try to look up what VIN that is, so we know what vehicle it is.
So it says that when you engage the PTO, sometimes it'll rev up the engine and make it take off when it shouldn't. It'll overpower the park brake, take it off, so. Okay, sounds good. All right, we have the minutes from the April 17th meeting. Does anyone have any changes, modifications?
No changes?
I'll move we approve.
I'll say,
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And I passed this one along. The small one about downtown parking. Anybody have a feeling on that? You want me to address it? Or just,
I mean, you can say something, but we don't really have any people put in it, do we? I mean,
it's in our handbook, but
well, that's kind of what I thought, short of, a reprimand
You reprimand them.
or key.
well, they're department head.
Or,
The department head isn't here.
I'll take care of making it. I'll
Just saying, there's
I'll
a
reach
lot
out
of
to them and
parameters on
say,
that
we've had
question.
a complaint, please,
I know it's been an issue for a while. So.
it's an issue,
I
once a
understand
year.
where they're coming from, yeah.
And especially now, there's going to be less parking, one during construction and two even after construction. Okay, it being 9 o'clock, we have a paving project bid opening. Mr. Winholm, Mr. Schnare will open the bid. But on this, do either of you agree or oppose, we reach out to make a comment? Okay.
6 projects we're opening. First one we're opening here is project 23-01. This is 100 East, 420 North, 520.
Do you want this real quick? Do you want it? We can.
First First bid is from J.H. Rudolph. It is in the amount of $211,160.05, 211160.05.
Should I check if there's any across the street or you have everything?
We've got 4 of each, so that's all we ever get. Shucks, and that's,
These are our usuals. Second bid's from Calcar Paving, same project. It's in the amount of $175,478.60, 175,478.60. Next bid is from CNR Construction. That bid is in the amount of $183,060, 183,060.00. Final bid is from E&D Paving. That is in the amount of $201,550, 201,550.00. Next project, 2302, for portions of 550 West and 450 West. First bid, again from J.H. Rudolph. Their bid is in the amount of $226,324.50, 226,324.50. Second bid from Calcar Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $209,468.20, 209,468.20. Third bid from CNR Construction. Bid is in the amount of $220,222.00, 220,222.00. Final bid on that project, E&D Paving. The bid is in the amount of $238,700, 238,700.00. Next project is 2303, road improvements to portions of 300 North and 325 East. First bid is from J.H. Rudolph. Bid is in the amount of $244,030.80, 244,030.80.
Second bid is from CalCar Paving. Bid is in the amount of $209,142.45. 209142.45. Next bid is from CNR Construction. That bid is in the amount of $216,839.00. 216839.00. Last bid on the project, E&B Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $242,100. 242100.00. Fourth project is 2304, portion of Celestine Road North, St. Mary Street, and New Orleans Street. First bid is from J.H. Rudolph. Bid is in the amount of $246,330.80. 246330.80. Second bid is from CalCar Paving. Bid is in the amount of $199,289.70. 199,289.70. Third bid from CNR Construction. Bid is in the amount of $204,124. 204124.00. Last bid on the project from E&B Paving. Bid is in the amount of $228,650. 228650.00. Next project is 2305. This is for improvements to portions of 500 East and Town of St. Marks. Guys, get your tape really close to the. First bid from J.H. Rudolph is in the amount of $294,164.90. That's 294,164.90. Second bid from CalCar Paving. Bid is in the amount of $247,957.10. 247957.10. Third bid is from CNR Construction. Their bid is in the amount of $335,117.50. 335117.50. Final bid on project 2305 is from E&B Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $271,990, 271990.00. Last project for bid today is 2306, improvements to portions of Ferdinand Road East. First bid to open is from J.H. Rudolph. The bid is in the amount of $179,125.20, 179125.20. Second bid on the project is from Calcar Paving. Bid is in the amount of $174,390.10, 174390.10. Third bid for the project is from CNR Construction. Their bid is in the amount of $165,539, 165539.00. Final bid for the project is from E&B Paving. Bid is in the amount of $181,100, 181100.00. That is all the projects and all the bids.
Well, we'll review, come back to us within the hour possibly, if not at the next meeting.
Correct.
If anyone wants to review the bids.
I'm gonna
with you,
take them downstairs.
Yep, first for me. Yep. Okay, thank you. You read all those down? Who's low on the first project? Yeah, whatever one more. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Point out, like, we're still on schedule, pretty efficient.
That's right, very good.
Well, Crest.
Purdue Extension Office Space. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. You guys doing okay this morning?
Good.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
I'm getting over a cold, so hopefully I don't break out in a fit of coughing, but I apologize ahead of time if I do. Last time we talked, we discussed a location subcommittee, and so we did have a meeting. That subcommittee is made of Commissioner Hofstadter, Ryan Craig from the council, Meredith Vogel, she is a part of our extension board, as well as the county council, and then myself. We discussed our current office space and the potential future of what our office space could be. And it was brought to the table, the idea of moving temporarily to the Center on Fifth. So Center on Fifth is the old elementary school. It has been adopted by SWICAC, and they've renovated it into where you can rent office space, and there's a lot of shared space there. With rental of the office, we would get about 1,100 square feet, so it would be different from what we're used to now, a lot smaller, and it would be open office, so it certainly couldn't be a permanent solution, we don't feel, but we would be able to sort of make it a temporary thing while we search for something a little bit more long-term. Excuse me. With that rental, we also get access to a lot of their different meeting rooms that they have. They're set up conference style so that if SWICAC has a client come in, they're able to sit around the table. So if they are not using it, we would get sort of second dibs on that. They have an auditorium that we could use. They have a training room that would seat a large amount of people, larger than we could find elsewhere in the county. So we're looking forward to potentially using that as well. There's a couple little closed office spaces that if we do have to have a closed door meeting, we can go to the first floor and take advantage of that. So we feel like it's checking all of the boxes, well, most of the boxes, other than having sort of those permanent private offices. It would also allow us to save some money for a year or two while we seek out something a little bit more permanent. The rent, if we're talking just this year, because we are paid on our rent until July, we would be saving, I wrote it down, about $8,800 this year. And then next year we would be saving, I'm sorry.
Should be about
Six.
$8,400, right?
Yes, in a year we would be saving $8,056. I don't know what I wrote down there. My notes don't make sense to me now. But in a year we'd be saving about $8,000. That's in rent, and then also we would no longer need to rent our own water tank. So that would save us about $456 in the year. So that's what we're looking for. I have brought to you a letter of intent. I printed off one that's dated for today. The process that we would have to go through in order to rent this space would be submitting this letter of intent to their board, their building board. The building board would then either accept or deny. That would be then returned an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, which serves as their lease. So that would include all of our responsibilities, all of their responsibilities, and rent. Right now, we're looking at rental of about $1,000 a month, which would be $800 for the room. And then they have a spare room that they're willing to let us use for storage. Because we know we have more stuff than we're going to be able to fit into that room. So with it being right around fair time, we were concerned about where we would put all of our stuff. So they were willing to let us have that. And again, this is all just proposed money. We don't know for sure until that comes back from the board, but they said probably around $200. There would also be an additional fee, which we might be able to cover in our budget with those savings. I might have to come back and talk to you guys about that. But currently the intercom system is on the other side of the building from our door. So we would want to install an intercom system where people could buzz up directly to us, because right now it buzzes directly to the Wi-Fi. So they'd be able to buzz up to us and we'd be able to let them in that way to come up to see us. So yeah. Are there questions that I can answer about this whole thing?
What are your thoughts?
I think it's a good idea. I think it gives them, it's kind of a patch, but it gets them out of that office that they're in now. And that's the main thing, I think, for now. And then that gives us time to explore the other options that we were looking at.
Mr. Schneider, did you look at the contract breakage language? Or has anybody looked at, or what is the language for breaking the contract with our current person?
We are able to get out of it at any point in time. Yeah. So,
The 30,
yes.
like a 30-day notice or anything like that, or
It doesn't
that didn't say that?
No, it just says anybody can leave at any point in time. Yes, so we are paid up until July, so that gives us time to move. So we feel like we could be out by July 1st. Of course, it's right in our busy season, so we might call upon some friends to come and help.
I think it sounds like a great idea, the little bit I know of it. The only thing I didn't like about it is anytime you move, people that are used to going to the other location don't know where you are now. But that's about it. That's the only thing I could think of, that other than if there was expense moving you, like I mentioned in the bike, I think it's a great move for solve some problems.
We feel like the only thing that we would potentially have to purchase as far as furniture or anything would be maybe a mini fridge. There is on the first floor a full kitchen that we could use for staff breaks, but coffee creamer and that sort of your drinks that you want nearby, you don't necessarily want to walk all the way down there. So maybe a mini fridge, and then a few privacy partitions just to make it a little bit more hospitable working space. That's all that we could think of as we were thinking of this space at this point in time.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's the letter of intent.
And Chelsea Ryan is reaching out about the other options.
Yes. Ryan Craig has been talking to Old National about potentially repairing that building. So.
further discussion on the topic? I guess we could all three sign on there if we want. I move that we agree to sign the memorandum of understanding with the intent to move from our current location to the center on Fifth.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
So it's an MOU, not a letter of
It's
intent.
a letter of intent.
I was gonna say, I thought it was a letter of intent.
Yes. They'll reciprocate with the MOU if they accept the letter of intent.
So we have to do a letter of intent, they have to accept it, then they'll send us an MOU.
Yes.
I'll modify my motion just for clarification that this is just a letter saying that our intention is to request rental of a large room in the center, upstairs, and the additional storage space. All in favor? There we go. We can write the seat if you like. Anything else to, do extension, anything else? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A couple minutes ahead of schedule.
Chair's getting hot. I'll just go 1 degree.
No. You're hot, I'm freezing to have cold and
I'm doing Mark, oh, good.
Yeah, just put my coat on.
I thought, I'm officials. Anyway, I hope you didn't forget that. I'm here. It's a busy morning, right? That's good. Oh, I'm sure.
So
I'm
will you
sure.
conserve and release?
Always do it.
It's just a memorandum of understanding with the lease agreement.
Environmentalist, he was supposed to quit, resign or quit on June 30th, then moved it up to June 2nd, and he off this morning, said, leave it in 10 minutes. Okay. Now I got 2 jobs again.
Oh, boy. Well, they'll never your pay, I'm sure.
Shit.
Don't work like that, does it? I've been down that road a few times. Well, we're getting rid of this person, but you want to see the responsibility for that increase. Well, no, we don't increase pay.
And do I need to take this to the council? Not until it involves the MOU, right? Right, so I just, since we're going under, it just, I don't think that would be the issue, I think it's just a courtesy. Okay. When the MOU comes, or if it's like that.
Just put, citizen or citizen, whatever, it matters.
How much under are we?
Well, compared to the corporation, I thought thinking about that too, that there might be another spirit.
Court. Court.
So you have this weekend.
I could meet that day.
All.
I'll send you.
Okay, that's that.
Brandon, you need help with something there?
To what?
Can you help with something there?
Something's ahead of you.
No, just plug and play.
4:30. And then if it's earlier.
It won't be early.
Okay. I'll put them on here.
No, I didn't find my boyfriend. They gotta be a little tall.
You're good.
He's going under.
I set mine to the side. Okay.
Saving and everything.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Sandy, if he touches that thermostat, just slap his hand.
Yeah. Oh, you know, yeah. You look at this industry.
I know you have to.
Small brush or brush mile or tree. That you gotta watch. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good, good, good.
I mean, what do you do?
That's exactly.
They're watching third.
Well, we're gonna slap your hand.
Hold on here.
Slap your hand.
Do you know, see, I put my coat on? Usually you're complaining like I am. Just keep going.
Usually I turn it down to 70 when I get here.
No.
Today I decided
Your man used to sit over there and have socks and she would blanket on herself. How did this be?
I found her eventually.
Oh, you did?
Roasting
Yeah,
over
they used to do that
here.
too.
We just leave like this. Usually we'll roast barrels.
You got hot flash?
Right here.
You got hot flash?
And the guns, you don't hear that.
I'm a man.
I think that's what's going on, right, Sandy? That's the problem.
Governor's office asked if we're gonna make it on track. So we're gonna. Sandy, you wanna go up?
I wanna go up where?
Pick up a large check for the county for.
We don't need big numbers, we need big.
I think we still got the old one right here. Somewhere.
Where's it at?
Martin County.
I might need to get off this.
I asked our team if we were unavailable. All right, I think we have, next up is Mr. Warner from the Health Department.
All right, I'm in here for two different things, Health Department annual report and Buck Shoals. Since Mark is here, I'll go ahead and do the Buck Shoals first and then he can be on his merry way.
Sure.
Mark Bowling owns the property. It's 7700, this is the area code at Buck Shoals. As you can see, most of the property is in the floodplain, and then the other portion is just extreme slopes, valleys. There's really no option for septic finger installation. So he's requesting a holding tank, much like what we would do at Beaver Lake or Ottawa Lake, to prevent the discharge of sewage from that property. So he's just basically wanting approval to get his holding tank permit today, and so we can move forward with construction.
So from my understanding with Mr. Warner, if someone wants to do this, it's not a blanketly approved item like a standard septic system would be, and unless the commissioners could consent for it. And in this case, it's the only option other than no build. And I've had a brief conversation kind of between the three of us here. And I told them that if it was me, I wouldn't want to be pumping my tank every 2 weeks or wherever, depending on the quantity that you can get. I said, I think that would be something that wouldn't be something that me personally would want to do because of the expense. That being said, I don't necessarily have a problem with someone else if they do want to use that as an expense. And because we are doing it in other locations where it's similarly unavailable for septic or public sewer, I see no reason, in my opinion, to not let us go and use a holding tank. That was my thinking on it. I'm happy to have a conversation about it.
And he can speak for himself, but I don't believe he's gonna live there. It's just gonna be like
It's a weekend thing, or bring kids down and fish. Just, I'm not gonna live there, so. And I've checked on the prices on getting the tank pumped, and I know what that is, and I don't feel like I'll be doing it that much, I'm gonna put $5,000, I got a tank in. And if I go pump it a couple times in the summer, I figure, little boys over the wood, they don't care, but, the women kind of like that bathroom. So,
and I told him, just like every other old tank, he'll have to keep his pumping records and you know, if there's a complaint, then we can always pull water usage in public records. If they use 5,000 gallons of water and they only pump it one time, then we know something's up. So that's typically how we handle if we get a complaint.
So do we want to tell Mr. Warner if to do a blanket approval for Buck Shoals for holding tanks with county health department's approval?
I would say River's Edge is in the exact same situation. I don't know if those are all already constructed and.
Where's River's Edge?
The one that you guys approved prior to Buck Shoals is just upriver. It's upriver.
For two similar ones back to back where they.
Nobody's come to me from River's Edge, but rather than me coming back first, we can one, and I don't know if there'll be any, but we can just include River's Edge, Buck Shoals, Beaver Lake, and Idlewild Lake is kind of our standard holding tanks. And you know, unless somebody from Buck Shoals or River's Edge has property that they can put a system in, then we're always going to pursue that first.
Sure.
And excuse me, but on the last lot there, the other lots are sold, they've already got existing structures on them. So I don't think there's.
But if it would sell, then they should.
Well, yeah, I guess if they sold some property, I see what you're saying, yeah.
And the way that currently the county does it, I suppose, in my understanding, is if the county wanted to hire a person to go around and check properties, we could, but generally we operate on if there's a complaint or if we notice a major violation of some sort, then we would examine it. So we're not gonna go to every neighbor in Buck Shoals and knock and check, but if another neighbor said, my ground is awful soggy and I believe it's coming from here, then that would be something we would check.
Or if the DNR would force us to.
Or sure, or if a state agency or that.
IDM or whoever.
We have had some feedback from IDM in that area, so. I always tell people proceed with caution. You're putting a lot of money and investment into something like this, and it's none of my business what you're doing, but
yeah,
I know I would proceed cautiously. Any other comments?
No, that's your opinion.
So I'll move that we allow the health department to make determinations of River's Edge, Buck Shoals, Jasper Lake, and Beaver Lake for the approval or denial of holding tank request. That'll be my motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
No.
Any feedback from Mr. Moore?
No, that should be.
Mr. Schneider, you got any feedback or anything?
That's for everyone. I guess you're here also individually on that, to go ahead and grant that one also in a separate.
If we get the blanket, you can make that
Do
determination,
that,
right?
yeah, either way, so.
I think we'll do it that way. Thank you for the comment.
So he's gonna be granted the approval to then approve or deny tanks.
So he'll have the board consent to approve holding tanks in those four locations.
Buck Shoals, River's Edge, Beaver Lake, and Idlewild Lake.
Idlewild Lake.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. So that being said, you two can work out if you're going to approve that holding tank.
I guess you can come by and get the permit, whatever. If you, I'll be going back to the office here and probably 10 minutes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
All right, the only other thing I have real quick is annual report. And what did you have here?
Oh, no, there is.
I don't know who gave it to us, but, yeah, I was here when we got here this morning.
Did you print these?
She must have gave it to Sandy already.
Connie handed them out to me.
I thought she gave it to the council. Did she
She
give?
gave me 3 for them and 7 for the
Oh.
council and 1 for me.
I told her to take them to the council, not, but she must have just told them.
So I had them in there.
Perfect. Step ahead. Do you want me to run through like each page and tell you what it is, or do you just want to review it and then get a hold of me if you have questions, or?
I looked at it and I'll ask my questions unless you want him to run through them individually.
If you just want to do a brief overview, you don't have to read every. word.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go through real quick kind of what each page is. So the first page obviously is the cover page. Second two is kind of just the staffing, the organizational chart, and then Third page there is just the health department staff and then our board. The next page is just the financial report, different funds, where they're at, revenues, expenses, those types of things. The page after that is
I have a
just.
couple questions on that.
Okay.
So yeah, the budget information, so it looks like your balance from the beginning of the fiscal year to the end, your balance went up considerably, and your revenues, I suppose were up. What do you account for that?
That's all due to COVID reimbursement for, COVID-19 vaccination from the state.
Did we get ahead on each of those? So we give a shot, it costs us $3, and we get $1 or additional or something, or how did we come across on that?
So the state, since it's still an emergency authorization, they send us the vaccine free of charge. And then every dose we administer, in this pot of money, it would go through the state. If they collect an insurance reimbursement, then they paid us $37 a dose. If they didn't collect, we didn't get anything, or we just donated our services. So $251,866 that we received this last year. This is 2022. That was for COVID reimbursement. That's probably about 50%, 40 to 50% of what we actually did, because somebody gave us the wrong insurance, or we didn't type it in right, or the state didn't collect our. And then in September, I think last year, we switched from Zojec, which is a state system, and went to VaxCare, which is what we do all of our vaccines through. And we're getting better reimbursement from that, but that won't reflect in that anymore. That's going to be in our monthly revenue. It won't be a lump sum like the state told us.
So you're a little bit ahead of the game, and the revenue that you bring in, such as that, gets to stay with the health department. It doesn't revert to any other county.
That goes into the health fund. That's insurance reimbursement, just like any other vaccine.
And then you can ask for it during your regular budget process. So it can't go anywhere else, but you still have to get it appropriated to you.
Yes.
Okay. And then we're under other funds. We have COVID-19 immunization vaccines for children grant. In some of these, we received 65 and dispersed 58. Do we get to keep the unspent money, or does it have to be reverted to the state?
So all these funds are different. So some of them are non-reverting, and some of them are reverting. COVID-19 one, I believe that was a non-reverting fund. So say we get, $100,000. We do the deliverables. It's kind of like preparedness. We do deliverables, not preparedness. Like the other non-reverting funds. If we do the deliverables, we keep the funds and they don't go back. If it's like, say, for instance, the nursing immunization grant 051, that is a reimbursable grant. So we'll put in for $65,000. If we don't use it at the end of the year, then it goes back to the state. So each one of these are different. I can try to remember off the top of my head if you want to know which ones are which. But
No, I wasn't sure. There was two of them here for COVID. One for the test site.
that's non-reverting, so that's ours.
So we're ahead of the game on that one, and the other children vaccine, we may be in that one as well.
Yes.
So our job was to make it available, serve everyone that has a need, and if it costs us more than that, then that's what we got. If it costs us less than that, then we get to keep the difference.
Yeah, the crisis co-ed grant, that's also non-reverting, so we're way ahead on that one.
There's somewhere, it's reimbursable grants, so they do the services and then we pay for it. He has one or two grants like that.
Yes, the immunizations grant, I know for sure is, we paid one of our public health nurses out of, we have to send an invoice every month to collect our expenses from the past month. Preparedness is the same way, small one, but.
Thank you for that.
Page after that is just kind of the same thing, just a little bit easier to read. Just the receipts, disbursements, and then final balance. And some of these won't make sense because they run multiple years. So you may have only received few $1,000s and then you spend way more than that, that's why. It's because they go over multiple years. The environmental report, that kind of just goes through the numbers of as far as our fees, at the top what we collected, and at the bottom it just kind of gives you a breakdown of each service, how many we did. Same with vital records. The top portion comes from our receipt program, and then at the bottom it just goes over the home births and the deaths. And then just a small clarification if anybody sees that. So home births, we actually did one in 2022 that was not filed in 2020 until 2023, so that won't show up on here. But there actually was one home birth in 2022. Next page is just the immunizations breakdown. At the bottom is the public health nursing numbers, what they did on their visits. The next page is the 2022 immunization counts, so it gives you month by month how many shots we gave for each category. And that's where you'll see your COVID numbers. They're way down compared to what they were in 2021, 2020. And then the last page is just the preparedness, kind of the breakdown of what we did for that grant. And at the bottom is just other items, some interest from some different funds, donations.
For your vital records, who determines the fees charged?
Us and the board.
I didn't remember, commissioners, anything to do, or it was all on your side?
The board sets our fees, so if we want to raise it $1 or $2, then we'll have to take that to our board. We're probably one of the higher counties as far as birth and death certificates, but I think some counties might actually be raising theirs this year because the coroner's continuing education fund is going up another quarter. For every death certificate we issue, we have to pay them, I'm gonna guess, $1 or $25 or $75, something in that range for each death certificate.
Yeah. On the certificates thing, I still remember when I needed to buy multiples, and I was disappointed that the second, third, and fourth cost as much as the first or something, so I was gonna complain.
Well, that's all on safety paper, and it has to have software technology behind it to build it, so if we have to change something or we have to pay monthly for that software, so there's definitely expense to printing those papers. Time for the clerk to issue it.
Got it. Good, I don't have any other questions, thank you for the report.
No, I have no questions. If I do, I'll give you a call.
Sounds good.
Do you need them to approve it or just?
I think I'm just supposed to hand it
I
out.
think it's a requirement to get.
That's right.
To be provided, yes.
Yep.
Thanks,
Good
sir.
to go?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Chairs, Mr. Hove. Before you get into chairs, I don't know if you, I doubt you were listening to the meeting earlier, but we talked about the dog situation on the square. And I think what we would propose is if we could get little signs or something like this, put it in wherever landscaping, if they're, because that's the main problem, right? They're going to go on our bushes and kill the bushes.
Probably, yeah. And right now they're on the yard. I haven't seen them in the landscape.
Okay. I think you would have the consent of our board if you want to put little signs in the landscaping, if you see somebody doing it, then, because that's gonna be a bit of a cost to replace one of those. As far as the yard, I think our thought is unless we start seeing solid waste left, then we need, it's kind of public space, and unless it becomes a bigger problem, then we would probably not do much about it, because if people live downtown, there's really nowhere for them to go. Hopefully it's kept to a minimum, but just maybe keep us involved, but I think, or informed, but yeah.
Okay.
Signage possibly.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I'm here today for the chairs to get the okay to move forward with replacing, getting 7 new chairs up for you guys, and then 4 different ones for these tables here. OFS, we got a quote from OFS for $8,734. Some change.
One more time, 7,000?
$8,734. 70-something, 73. We had a sample, I think,
Picked it up Friday.
did they pick them up?
I'm pretty sure they picked them up Friday.
I don't know
They
if
were
you
here
all seen
Saturday.
them.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
they didn't
they
get
were,
them
they were
Friday.
against the wall,
I know Mike's seen them. I think a couple of people sat in them and checked them out. Nick's seen them. Yeah, they were here this morning, yeah.
I would have brought them up, they said they were getting them, so then I didn't.
Yeah, I showed Nick one this morning. I don't know if you've seen
I
it.
did. Greg and I saw them the other day.
I think Mike's gonna use that LATCF or whatever that fund is. Let me get them.
He did reach out to see if we can get a discount, but I don't think we've heard back
I don't
yet.
think we heard back yet.
That seems like a lot of dang money. For chairs.
It's
I
cheaper
mean,
than,
we were buying them up at the jail and,
it's cheaper than the ones from up there they quoted.
you mean from the other provider?
Well, the company that
Right.
was up there, these are cheaper than those.
Because we're,
I think your seven are gonna be taller and
These are more,
these
the
four
ones
are
for
gonna
up here are gonna be executive,
Yeah.
and those are gonna be
lower.
the next, instead of high back would be the next level down.
Yeah.
Same chair, it's just different backing.
I don't know if they said this would be Styline, right?
OFS.
Or is that?
Same.
Yeah, same to me, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Same.
So, I guess if that's the way they wanna go, I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I'm getting to be an old guy where everything costs too darn much.
Yeah.
Any problems, issues here?
What it is what it is.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Hope?
While I'm here, the handicap ramp is done, or it's not done, but it's usable. Are we gonna lock the basement door? I need to get signs, new signs made, or what's going?
I think you have to wait for the ADA to be
If
installed.
there's no waiting, they're gonna shut it down next week anyways. Or sometime this week, they're gonna tear the concrete up, so you won't be able to use it anyways. The basement,
I thought we always had access to our building.
you won't be able to come around the,
So what are we gonna do to let people in those doors when they come up to the ramp, is what my question.
when I first started, I mean, we never had ADA downstairs.
So you're saying on the south side of the building, there won't be driveways?
South side where the back,
Just the
south,
ramp is.
yeah, where the ramp is, you won't be able to use that probably sometime this week. They're gonna shut it down. They're gonna tear the concrete up.
When are the new door extras coming in?
They're on order. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months. You know how it is. But when I first started, we never had ADA.
I know, but the shit's changed. It's horrible to say, but it's just, things have changed.
I was just saying, you can't go by what it was.
Let me look, I know what you're saying, I agree, I think the handles we have are adequate, I just gotta make sure about that. Because it's all about opening, you have to be able to open. I think the actuators are a convenience, I don't think they're a must. It looks better if we do try to.
Oh, yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
But I think if the handles.
What I'm saying, one way or another,
Yeah.
that's gonna
I
be
think
your
the handles are
ADA.
adequate. Yeah, I think
At the end of the
handles are
week, that's gonna be the only way in anyways.
I think the handles are adequate, I just gotta make sure. So.
What we discussed earlier on the main platform, they still don't have those rails. Do you know where those are? Are those coming or?
Luke Ware has to make them. The company that put up the railing stopped where they stopped. They didn't do the sides for some reason.
Oh,
I don't, that's city.
Okay, but you have that in process too?
Well, they do. Yeah, Luke's gonna come up and measure them. He hasn't done it yet, so that could be a couple months before that's done. I mean, there's
I say that.
caution tape and
Tell me if this makes sense, that I think we give Mr. Oaf the ability to lock that door at such time that he has the signage that he thinks is necessary to let people know where to go and what to do, because as of now, unless those signs are taken down, it directs them to go to the west side of the
They're
building.
down.
On both sides they're down? Okay. And are you going to put new signs up in the same spot saying, head this way?
Yeah, we'll do something.
Do you think we need to wait for that signage to lock the basement and start upstairs? Part of me thinks that if the basement is still accessible now, let it be, and whenever the accessibility is gone, then that'd be a good time to cut it.
I mean, the northwest corner will be open. You'll be able to come down the steps. You won't be able to use the ramp. So I
We're
mean,
putting the ramp back though, right?
Yeah, they're not touching the ramp, they're just the sidewalks to the ramp.
Okay.
The access is gonna disappear.
I was like,
The parking
I
area
remember
that's
this
there.
Yeah, the parking and all the sidewalks leading to the ramp is
Santa's house.
gonna be gone here by the end of the week.
All right, that's understood.
But you'll be able to come from the other side, but there's 3 or 4 steps there.
I'd say leave it open until that it's destroyed, there's no access to the ramp. And then we'll keep it closed indefinitely from there unless we change our thoughts on it. I mean, that's kind of what we agreed on, that we would shut it down, we just didn't have a set date. Does that sound like an acceptable time frame for the two of you? Once access is gone, well, then people are gonna have to figure it out that they head to the east side. When that happens, if you'll let me know, I'll put it on Facebook, at least that'll be one bit of public knowledge, or that we put the information out there.
I'll get a hold of him for some signs here and get it going.
Okay. I think that sounds reasonable. And if, as far as one of the other part of that was to start doing checks when people come in, body scanners or purse checks or whatever security that the sheriff's gonna do, I guess that's gonna be on them to start doing. I can reach out to them and say, tell them what's going on.
No, that's all I got.
I'll let the judge know and I'll let the sheriff know that we are probably within the next week and a half is the plan of when that back door will start being shut.
So are we gonna have it open? We're shutting the outside door, so the restrooms no longer be accessible?
I would say shut the outside. I think that's what security. Shut the inside, it's gonna be hard for everybody to go out, the employees to get out and to the water fountain and bathrooms.
So if a person wanted to use the county's restroom, we're gonna drink out of the water fountain, they have to come upstairs, first floor.
Yeah.
And then they could go down.
Or else they go, then they go down.
Okay, I'll update the judge and the sheriff on basement door situation. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Any updates on any of the other old things getting ordered or anything?
I got everybody notified. I know Doug Fisher said it'd be a while. I talked to Kai, she's got stuff on order. He said it might be a couple of weeks, but it's just, it's hard getting quotes anymore. It's hard getting stuff done.
From what I read, the economy is slowing, so that will probably change.
Yeah.
So that's all good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
So the keyless entries are coming in.
All of that stuff is in process. I had a couple questions that I asked the auditor's office to look up for some of the vouchers, so I think she sent these. So when we have lunch and learn, we approved 5 people lunch.
Yes.
That's not good to you? We did that? Okay.
Right, so we're gonna stay over lunch and.
Did I vote in favor of it?
I think you did. Marky, has that in his budget.
I don't recall that. It's not a huge expense, it's just I don't remember doing
It's
that.
an incentive to get people to come to the lunch and learn because they're giving up their lunch hour.
Probably a good idea.
This
This one, Thursday,
we've been having them once a month at different rotating places.
business community corrections on Thursday.
The wellness committee, each location has somebody in charge and they decide the topic and then the menu, and then Christina actually goes and gets the food and takes it to them.
Okay, well, I looked at all of they were nice enough to look up some claims that I had questions on. Some things that didn't set, there were a couple people, somebody named Heather Henderson had 2 $3,000 payments, and it was Lucinda Woodward, and I'd never heard of these people, so they're doing, for the county, they're doing competency evaluations, so I think they're getting paid for those. We were paying at St. Mary's Church something.
Okay.
I guess that's to rent a space for our recycling center is there, so that was fine. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns on the claims against the county? Not. So I'll move that we approve the claims as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we have payroll. Any changes or comments on that? Sure. I'll move that we approve the payroll.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, where am I? Okay. Let me do some more math. Sure, our match is gonna be for community crossing.
Congressional School Annual Report.
Let me get that done.
Every May 1st, we have to report what we are holding in the congressional school. There's two amounts. The first amount is a perpetual CD that we hold for $17,402, which comes from the sale of some congressional district way back in the 1900s. And you have to hold that money in a trust, and then whatever interest it earns goes into another fund. And of that interest, we pay the schools out $696.08. That's a total. Each school gets a different amount, totaling that. So it earned an interest of $874.82. We paid out $696.08. Right now, there's a balance of $52,922.42. We have to get that to the state. Each have remembers his days of treasurer of $17,402. It never changes.
Kind of odd. I'll move that we approve the Congressional School Annual Report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That is the last of the agenda items. Mr. Windows, are you prepared to move forward with highway bid selection?
Now, 1 minute
Or
here.
need a few more minutes? That's fine. Mr. Schneider, do you have any business to say?
One, an update, I let Steve and Brent both know that the county finally does own the Du Bois trash site. So I'm glad that's in. And then Cerise and I met last week, talked about the purchasing policy.
Yes.
So that's in process of trying to put together an updated version for the board's review and consideration. The last thing would be, I did this last year also, I would seek approval from the board to attend a educational seminar for municipal law update in Noblesville this year through the Accelerating Indiana Municipalities. I can't remember what line item it came out of. Travel.
You probably use it as a commissioner's travel line item. I have no problem with that. We haven't
No
used it.
problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to let you know.
Approved by consensus.
Thank you.
And that's the IMPA?
No, AIM,
AIM.
Inpost Municipal Power.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't need to go to that.
Talk about exciting. They know what to do.
That's serious stuff, that's fine.
Can you tell me what it is?
I can't, yes, June 21st through the 23rd.
Anything else, Mr. Schneider?
No, sir.
Public comment?
Cool, I'm gonna go check out the work release, so when you guys wanna go with me, the meeting's over with, so I'll walk you like we did last time. And if not, it's no big deal, but.
So you guys are on the purchase
Thank you, but I
agreement?
can't.
That's not.
Which pays me no?
I just try to get the work release, all purchasing policy, a lot of times I'll kind of,
Agreed.
you know, it's just. Stay.
Still working on that.
Totally agree.
All right. So you didn't have any miscellaneous items, Commissioner Stefano?
No, sir.
Mr. Hostetter?
Nothing too exciting. We did have a Region 15 meeting that I attended, and had Craig McGowan there from the USDA as a guest speaker.
You got any sewer money for us?
Well, mentioned a few things that might be an option. I'm meeting with Mary tomorrow. We discussed
Wait till next week.
get them on workforce.
Great. I really hope that all goes through well. I'm so nervous if people are aware, it's one of those where you have to do all this work and then they'll tell you what they'll give you instead of, like Mary has mentioned multiple times, in Kentucky, they kind of say, this is what's available if you do all this work. So we kind of do it backwards in Indiana.
Yeah.
Which is potentially wasteful.
Right, and just cross fingers and hope that they come back and say, yeah, that looks like a great project, here's a bunch of money.
Sure. Right.
Or it looks like a great project, but here's some of the money.
Right,
No, that's like that.
sucks. And that would be the problem, because, if we don't get a whole bunch of money, I mean, it's not a cheap project, but it's a very necessary one.
Correct, yes, I completely,
Maybe it's kind of like broadband, we're gonna have by the end of the year, we should have just saturation. It'd be nice to have saturation with sewer.
I can update Friday, they hooked me up. I
Oh,
have
good.
fiber now.
Do you really?
It's awesome.
You're all in.
Do you have it down to your house?
Wow.
No more Atari baseball for me.
You're going online, baby.
Well, no, I'm just saying, when I would watch games, so, I mean, 90% of the game would be great, but then there'd be moments where it was like watching an Atari game, like, these
Pixelated.
block figures that are all pixelated.
Still waiting.
Baseball, isn't it?
There's people on the council that
Yeah.
I've heard, people in the community that it's getting places. It's just not everywhere yet.
We're right on the main drag, so that's it.
True.
And our providers,
Terms up there, they couldn't get through those terms.
Is that it?
well, they couldn't until they had all those chevrons.
Now
That's
they
what I'm
Probably know-
saying.
Now they
Now
know.
they know where they're
They're
at.
gonna find their way around. Somebody already had one chevrons on property, just laying on the ground, like, just stay there, I guess, because it doesn't seem like anybody's concerned with it.
But just laying there.
Okay, we got a public comment?
I have one more public comment, which comes out from Knox County, but I want all you guys to know that we are looking for a new Knox County Park superintendent. So if you guys have anybody.
Guess who else is?
Yeah,
We
so
are
if we have any number 2 candidates, we'll send them your way.
Yeah, our park superintendent is retiring.
And an assistant, we both.
Well, we're looking, so, pass the word. I guess you guys are passing it anyway, so.
All right, what about anything from the auditor? Mr. Winnow?
I do have one thing. Those desks, we didn't have any takers on, so.
Their desks.
Yeah, our desks.
Let's declare surplus, get rid of
How many
Those
desks do you have?
chainsaws and.
So you have no use for them, you've replaced them. Are they high quality, worth hundreds of dollars? They're not, okay.
We crossed that bridge before already. Yeah.
So I will move that we declare 2. How many desks do you have? Whatever. Free desks at the highway department as surplus items to be disposed of.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, so this is my plan. Hopefully it works. I would like to award projects 1 through 5. We're gonna hold on 6 so we can look at our budget, because there's a chance with the way these prices came in, we might be able to get 6 done. I know we had talked earlier about just holding it because we're gonna reappropriate, but with the way these prices came in, we might be able to reconfigure and award it. So we want to possibly award that at the next meeting. So I'll let you know that. I want to do projects 1 through 5. Okay, so 2301. I'd recommend awarding it to CalCar Paving in the amount of $175,478.60. 2302. I'd recommend awarding to CalCar Paving in the amount of $209,468.20. Project 2303 to CalCar Paving in $209,142.45. 2304 in the amount of $199,289.70. That's a CalCar as well, sorry, going too fast. 2305 to CalCar Paving in the amount of $247,957.10. They all were complete bids. Everything was in order, number wise and everything. So
And to clarify, if there was one project that we wouldn't do this year, it would be the Ferdinand Road East, so it's not, it's our sixth project.
Yes, correct. It's our 6th ranked project, correct.
So right now, 2306 taken under by.
Correct.
Does it surprise you the way that the bidding came out?
Very much so. I'm happy, but yeah.
I guess not even the bid amounts, but that a single bidder wins most of them?
CalCAR's been very good to us. They've helped us out tremendously. So I am not surprised. This has happened several years before. We've done it's not the first time they've got maybe come in and clean house.
Do you think that eventually the other bidders will stop bidding?
No, because they've got them before too. They've all got projects.
Okay.
And we hope they don't bid.
I just know that it takes a lot of manpower.
Takes some hours to
bids
get it done.
together, yeah. But you said you can't go for the work if you don't give it a try. So I'll say, I'll move that we do approve projects 2301 through 2305 to be awarded to CalCAR paving. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And we will hold on 2306. Again, if it's a project that's worth doing, hopefully we can find a way to make it happen.
I would like to get it done, but we'll wait and see.
Anything else, Ms. Bueno?
I think a lot of times, Chad, logistics plays a big part in how some of these projects bid, so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's just, and, you know, I know Rudolph they've got Highway 64, E&B's got a lot of work out in Evansville. Their workloads are a lot higher right now for some of these than others. That's always a big difference, so. They're not as hungry, maybe the best way to say it.
Yeah, as the bids were coming in, CalCAR was low and all of them, except for the last one there. I kept thinking, I wonder when they bid these, if there's not a certain threshold of, gosh, we can't do them all.
Yeah.
You know, like even if we win all 5 of them, maybe we have to say, we can't do that one.
CalCAR's, they're usually pretty good at getting it done. They try to manage their workload very well.
You would think that they all probably have to buy their materials
Right.
on the same market, and the labor market's pretty similar across the board, so it was surprising to me to see an $80,000 difference between bids on like 2305, for example. And some of these were 25% difference, some of them were bigger, but it's not my business, so I don't know how they come up with that.
I don't know how they do. I mean,
And
one project might be two miles away from their yard where they keep all their materials, where it's 15 for the other end, you know.
And the price of diesel, that adds up really fast.
Yeah.
And it would be different if CalCAR was Bob's Paving, that's a new company that we don't have any experience with. But they've done good work.
They've done great work, yes.
It's not that their roads hold up less than someone else's.
I mean, they hold it fine.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah, they're all,
Their quality is the
their
same.
payment is very good. They have very good quality.
Okay, anything else?
That's all I got.
I don't believe I have any other items here. Got a few things that I'll follow up with, but I see no other business. No other business? Close meeting.
So Nick, do you want to look at a calendar for the department meetings so I can get it out?